William Cake, and I'm from Pittsburgh Resurrection. My wife Tamasia and I, and a guy named Claude Watson. I've been functioning out of this little house in the Pittsburgh neighborhood for about 12 years now. And I feed people 3 times a week as a way of getting to know them. And we're, I guess, the primary channel between the streets and drug rehab for the Pittsburgh neighborhood. We have a fairly steady flow of people coming from the streets and going into rehab. Claude Watson is sort of our specialist in that. He's been involved in AA and all of that for about 35 years now and knows all the ropes. He teaches the AA class at the Salvation Army's Adult Recovery Center every Friday night to about 80 guys. And then we've got, that's one of the channels that we send people through. My wife does life skills classes, things like motivation, job preparation, that kind of stuff at the Proc Center, the Salvation Army's Proc Center. We're a kind of a seat-of-the-pants bootstrap organization. I would guess that 90–95% of our expenses come out of my income, which is $14,000 a year. So you can imagine that we're just kind of trying to turn scraps into food so that we can maintain our relationships with the people in the neighborhood and continue to work on all that we can work on. We've gotten involved in the neighborhood master plan and trying to recruit good people into the neighborhood, trying to find people who own the vacant houses and the houses where a lot of this prostitution and drug activity goes on in the vacant houses, and a lot of the customers stay in the vacant houses. We kind of see the ladies in the street as, I sometimes try to describe it as a conduit using child molestation victims to channel money from tricks to drug dealers. And they get very little out of the middle of it, but they can eat and survive. It's a hard life. And we've actually had more success, slightly more success with women leaving the streets than we have with men. But both have flowed pretty steadily now for the last 10, 12 years. I guess that's about it. If there's any questions, I also try to keep track of people's education levels, and if they're willing to go for it, if they go over to the Proc Center for their GED, their teacher over there. And I also teach GED at the ARC at the Salvation Army Center there. And then I've got other people who just come to me that don't quite fit into that program, but they say, hey, I quit school in 10th grade and I think I know most of what I need to know to pass the GED. I say, well, here's 5 tests averaging about 3 pages each of reading, writing, math, social studies, and science. Take these and bring them back to me, and I'll look and see where you are and just feed you material. You can, as long as you keep bringing back what I give you, you'll keep moving towards the GED. And the Crack Center program has had a lot more success. It's growing in success. Our first year that Ms. King was there, we had 1 person get their GED, the next year 2, the next year 3, and this year I think it's going to be 7 or 8. And so that's basically what we do. And we're really interested in the whole community, but we have developed a special relationship with the ladies who are out in the streets. We've been feeding them now for 10, 12 years, so they've gotten to know who we are, and we just make sure that even the new ones know that, hey, if you ever decide you want to change this life, like you've seen somebody who's just been beat up by their pimp or something, or by somebody who really thought they had the right to beat them up. Say, hey, don't you think that you might get out of this, and have a real life? I mean, God's got a plan for your life. And when that sperm was headed towards the egg about to create you, I don't think it was God's fondest dream that you end up here. I think He's got another plan for you. And a lot of them go for the other plan. Questions? Yes, sir.
Do you see anything that you do that warrant support from the city government?
If they wish to go with, part of it is what everybody else does. One of the things that we are is kind of a fisher for people to go into these programs. I think that the life skills thing, the be present model, the life skills thing that Macy is working on. We've got those going now with seniors up at the Pittsburgh Park and at the Heritage Station. You can see how it would really kind of be a perfect thing for groups of ladies from the street. Basically, what you do at Be Present is each person is given as much time as they need, generally about an hour, to just kind of tell their story. Tell their story about what's going on in their lives, where they're at now, and just without any criticism or breaking into the story, just let them talk about who they are. And as you clear that out, then you begin working on listening. And if it were not for all this stuff that's happened to me, you know, the molestation, the poverty, the illness, who would I really be? You know, and who am I really? And then let that person begin to develop relationships that would be ongoing, supportive relationships, and develop support groups. I think that Be Present model, which is going to move more into the ladies in the street, is something that's really been kind of new to us. Macy went out for a week of training at the Esalen Institute in California last January, and now has been getting these kinds of groups going in Lincoln. Whether the city would support that, I think they might. It just depends on how they develop this sort of holistic, how do we go forward from there. And when you look at how people can go, that's the life skills things that she teaches are good. And then a lot of just fishers, you know, fishing people off the streets and into the programs. We've got a lot of people who've got programs and referral programs. You see people who've got good programs and are having trouble getting people to fill it. The Croc Center has a lot of good programs going on that are very underattended. So people with kind of roots in the streets that can draw people into others' programs is of value. I don't know how much funding would come to us for doing that, because it's other people doing a lot of the work.
We can't hear you.
Okay, he's asking if we could put more pressure on Johns. I think that would be great, except it seems to be very difficult to put pressure on Johns. When we turn in license plate numbers of people that we see picking up ladies off the street, that's not much evidence for the police to move forward on. You know, it's a little nebulous. Okay, your vehicle was seen, you know, getting a known prostitute climbing into the car, but what does that really prove? You know, I think putting pressure on Johns would be great. We've gathered phone numbers, and I don't even know what the number is, but at our public safety meetings, we have neighborhood public safety meetings, because of my GED teaching, I can't get to them, but my wife has got getting to them. And they've given her some police number that she could call with John license plates, and she's done quite a bit of it, but we don't know where all that goes. Yes.
I know each situation is different, but with your experience, what seems to be the main time for a successful case for that?
Sometimes they call it hitting bottom. Is that what you mean? The main time for a successful turnaround? How do you know that somebody's near turning around?
Where you would say, we're each on a path of success, how do you define success?
It's just, it's in each individual when that light comes on that they realize, hey, I just gotta give this up, you know. And sometimes it leads them into treatment. Sometimes, I know one guy that Doug knows. He'd been doing crack for about 3 years, and he inherited a house. And so he would just let other people use drugs in his house in exchange for a piece of the rock, and he just stayed high without doing anything except posting crack addicts for about 3 years. And one day he walked into his bathroom, and as he was walking out of the bathroom, he saw his reflection in the mirror, and he did not recognize